started building several years ago, I met a member of the Romero family. The Romeros are a very famous Spanish classical guitar family. They have a quartet that has played worldwide for many, many years. And Celino Romero was the first of the Romeros that I met. Through Celino, I met his cousin Pepe Romero Jr., who is a luthier and has been building classical guitars now for about 12 years. Pepe and I have become good friends, and I've learned a lot from Pepe. He has a very strong influence in my guitars, as does Miguel Rodriguez Jr. Miguel Rodriguez Jr. is a very famous, or I should say was a very famous Spanish classical guitar builder. Upon the completion of each of my guitars, I take them down to Romero's house, and at least 3 or 4 members of the family will play the guitar and critique it. And I've learned so much from them. I can't even begin to tell you how much I've learned from them and what a great help they've been to me and inspiration over the years. So I would give them credit for why I'm still here today and doing this. Classical guitar really is a niche market, yet it is amazing that worldwide it is extremely popular. It really is. To give you an idea of quarter sawn versus flat sawn, I've chosen this piece of Honduras mahogany. It seems to have grain running both directions. Quarter sawn piece of wood, if you can see the annuals here running in a more vertical section, that would be quarter sawn. If it were perfectly vertical or at 90 degrees, it would be quarter sawn. As it comes off of that and comes down at an angle, it would be rift sawn if it were closer to a 45-degree angle. But as the grain structure, as you see here, starts to come out and go across and run parallel with the board surface, that is flat sawn. So what that gives you on the face of the board, with flat sawn, it gives you a more open grain structure. And with quarter sawn, it gives you a tighter grain structure. For purposes of bending a wood, quarter sawn bends much easier than flat sawn. So that's why on the guitar sides, we always want wood that's quarter sawn or close to quarter sawn. It could be somewhere between quarter and rift. This Western red cedar top is book matched. Once the 2 pieces are glued and run through the sander, I then route out the channel for the rosette. The rosette consists of these mosaic tiles that you see, and then the inner and outer veneer rings that go around them. The mosaic tiles are actually a series of pieces of wood or small veneers that are glued together into a block. This is what one of the mosaic tile blocks looks like. It's also referred to as a mosaic log. Once I have one of these logs made, and I make them in about 6 to 7 inch lengths, these are taken over to the table saw, and on a very small fine curved blade, I cut mosaic tiles off the end of the log. And it's those tiles that you see within the guitar rosette.
So those are individually, as many, I don't know.
These are individually glued into the soundboard.
Wow.
And there's, I believe about 65 of the tiles in the soundboard.
So you make a big log and then you just kind of slice up the log like you're cutting up a log of cheese to give you the thinness, and then one by one they go in.
Strength is a big deal, but uniform strength throughout, and that's why one piece of wood is taken and resawn. And as you can see, because of the grain structure, this is quarter sawn. So tops are always quarter sawn, back and sides are preferably quarter sawn, but depending upon the availability of the wood, they may or may not be. This is typical bracing on the back of one of my guitars. The bracing provides strength for the guitar top, but also it really kind of defines the sound of the guitar. And bracing patterns are done in many, many different ways. I use a 5-fan brace with a treble bar, which is this bar. We have the 2 transverse braces above and below the sound hole. I use spruce on all my bracing. It's extremely lightweight and very strong. This is actually a pad which is called a bridge pad. The bridge of the guitar will sit right over this. And as the strings are pulled, the bridge pumps the top of the guitar and gives us the sound that we hear. So it's really quite an amazing process. These are all glued on. The braces are made before they go onto the top. I actually pre-carve the braces. I then glue them onto the top and then complete the carving and sanding of the braces. So I take everything down to a 320 grit. So it's extremely smooth, it's very refined. The tops are actually positioned onto what's called a solera or work board. And this is my solera. I built all my guitars on this board. This solera is actually concaved because the top is positioned upside down on the solera as the guitar is being built, which allows then for the top of the guitar to have a convex shape. The body to neck angle of the guitar is actually dictated by this solera. This portion of the solera is actually angled down to give the proper neck to body angle. So this is a very, very important part of the guitar building process. I like the old school way, and I'm actually considering opening a luthiery school here in North County within the next few years and teaching classical guitar. There are online tutorials and there are books out there that are actually pretty good. I would say for someone who's a novice woodworker, it would be best to contact a luthiery school, and there are luthiery schools around the nation. So it's a matter of using your search engine
Right on.
to see what you can find.
But getting, like, because so few places do it, like, I guess in the past you would get an apprenticeship and start working in a shop, but there's just so few shops that do that. I guess that's really kind of, that way is not possible anymore.
It's very difficult because it's expensive to take an apprentice on, because in teaching someone, you then work at probably best 60 or 70% of what you would be without having someone there.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like a lost art, huh?
it really is. It is. It's unfortunate that America has outsourced so much of its workforce, and
Yeah.
many young people now aren't coming in to the workforce and showing interest in building things with their hands.
Well, I'm glad that you're still here, man, to carry on the tradition. And it sounds like if you can get the school going and teach and pass on your knowledge so people can continue this this art of building by hand, which I assume is what, hundreds of years old?
It really is.
And that's something that we need to keep around in this society, because, like,
is.
if that was to go extinct, that would be horrible, you
I
know?
don't want to lose the American craftsman.
No.
To be perpetuated.
Absolutely. So.